Hey, happy Monday, everyone. I hope this video finds you and your family doing extremely well. Hey, have you ever said to yourself, man, those habits are killing me? I'm sure you have, because you're a human just like me, and we all have certain things that we do on a consistent basis that we feel are keeping us from going where we want to go or from being who we want to be. Dale Carnegie once said, feeling sorry for yourself and your present condition is not only a waste of energy, but it's the worst habit that you could possibly be doing. Isn't that so true? We often get in this rut of feeling sorry for ourselves because we're not getting to where we want to go and we're not who we want to be. But when we sit there and we just dwell on that, we're not getting anywhere. It's a waste of energy, and it's the worst habit that we could practice because it's not going to change anything for us. Experts say that 90% of who we are a direct result of the habits that we practice in our lives on a daily basis. Now, in some ways, if we like who we are and where we're at in life, that can be a very positive statement. If not, then it's like, wow, 90% of who I am is a direct result of my habits. Now, that may seem negative if you're not where you want to be or who you want to be, but it's actually a very positive thing, because if that statement is true, and I believe it is, I've seen it stated by more than one person in the course of my life, 90% of who you are is a direct result of your habits. Then that means that if you begin to change some of your habits, you can begin to change who you are. If you can begin to change some of your habits, you can begin to go from where you're at to where you want to be. You just have to figure out what habits to change. Now, 1 Corinthians 6:12 is really important to all of us who are followers of Christ. Paul says, all things are lawful for me, but not all things are helpful. He says, all things are lawful for me, but I will not be enslaved to anything. Now, I'm not digging into this from a theological stance, but I am pulling out a principle here that we learned from Paul. First, Paul is teaching us that, hey, I can do whatever I want to do. I'm a free person. I can make up my own mind, but not all of my decisions may be good decisions, all right, or helpful for me. The second thing he says is, hey, I can do whatever I want to do, but I choose to not be enslaved by anything. Now, that second statement's powerful, because we all have the freedom to do what we want to do. But when we understand that in doing some of those things, watching TV all day long, drinking too much alcohol, eating too much food, I can do whatever I want to do, but I will not be enslaved by anything, or it may not be helpful to me. That's two powerful things that Paul tells us here. Listen, as a Christ follower, I want to live my life in alignment with God, because when I do that, then I'm going to be the strongest person that I can be. I'm going to be that person that I was created to be by God himself. No one knows me better than the Creator, the one who made me. And so I want to be in alignment with God. I want to practice those habits. How do we know what those habits are? How do we know what alignment with God looks like? Well, we have to open the Bible. We have to get into God's Word. It's our instruction manual. It teaches us how to live a life successfully. God's Word is a gift to us. It teaches us how to live our lives successfully. Ephesians 5:1 says, therefore be imitators of God. As we read His Word, then we want to begin to practice those principles like we just read from Paul. We want to put them into action in our lives, because those things will make us successful. If you keep on doing what you've always done, then you're going to keep on getting what you've always got. That's not my statement. That's been around forever. But if you keep on doing what you've always done, you're just going to keep on getting what you're experiencing right now. You're not going to be anything different than who you are if you keep doing what you're doing. So we've got to make changes in our lives that will help us begin going to where we want to go, or being who we want to be. Now, there are four things here that I want to leave you with today that they're not rocket science. I certainly didn't make them up. They've been around forever too. But when you practice these things, they can make drastic differences in our habits. They can begin to help us change our habits. And they say it takes about 21 days or 3 to 4 weeks to change a habit. Now, certain habits may take a lot longer, but that's just a general principle. So if we will practice new habits for 21 days, 3 to 4 weeks, or stop doing bad habits for that same period of time, we can begin to make some significant differences. So how do we change our habits? 4 things that you got to do. Number 1, you have to first become aware of your bad habits or the new habits that you want to create. So you have to become aware of those things. I think we're pretty well aware of the bad habits in our lives, and we may have to give a little thought to some of the positive or good habits that we want to develop, but either one, not hard, folks. We can all do that, okay? Number 2, once we become aware of those 2 things, then we have to make a decision that I'm going to make some changes. We have to make a decision. We have to become decisive, all right? So we just have to do it. And don't procrastinate it. Once you become aware of what you need, those changes that you need to make either way, make a decision, all right? And then that leads to the next thing. Make a plan. How are you going to begin to develop those new changes in your life? What do you got to do? What's the first step, second step, third step? All right, develop a plan. And then the 4th is the most important. Once we become aware, once we've made a decision, once we've created a plan, now we have to take action. We just got to begin putting it into motion. And like I said, 3 to 4 weeks, 21 days, you'll be well on your way to developing some new habits or changing some bad ones, all right? So come on, folks. God's got a plan for your life, a purpose for your life, all right? Let's not let bad habits drain our energy, but let's take some time to become aware, become decisive, make a plan, and take some action, and let's get going where we want to go and becoming who we want to be. Hey, I love you. I'm praying for you. I hope you're doing well, and God bless you. We'll see you soon.